Okay, we're recording. It is, what is today? February 5th. It's about 9:20 in the morning for me. And I found that this is the first time, at least when I'm up. I know there's probably some good plays when I'm asleep too, for people in Europe or other places. But this time is the first time during the day, when I first wake up, that when the markets are doing well, there's a lot of really good plays. Like you'll find some nice ones that go, 5 million, 20 million, something like that. And right now what we're seeing is a lot of these plays, these Degen plays are having trouble even getting over 1 million. I've seen some that don't even get over 500K. So when you see something like this, it just tells you that the market's weak for that day. And, if you see the legacy markets are having a bad day, it's probably not going to be a good day. It could on the back end of the day, the second half, things could pick up. But we still got 2 more days. Today's the 5th. We got 2 more days until the full moon range begins, when things can start looking better. So I'd say give it a couple of days, but we're going to see. There have been instances, even when the market's bad, that we found good plays. But my point is, don't expect to find many of them. They're going to be rare right now. If you're playing this all day and you're watching the alerts all day, you're going to find some good ones. But you're not going to find any that you can take the fib, I don't think, anyway, that you can take your fib from bottom to top and, wait for it to get back above 786. Generally, these don't seem to be rebounding. What you really need to do is try to find the first pump. And typically, I wouldn't say that that's the best strategy, but the way the market is right now, that's all you can really do. I think in a couple of days it'll change, but we'll see. So let's talk about, making money in the hardest Degen market, which is currently, the last couple of days, that's how it's been. We're going to see if it's possible in real time to actually find good plays. And I think we might find 1 or 2, but we'll look at it here in a second. So first, let me just talk about the overall market. Right now, we have 19% of all altcoins that are listed on CoinGecko are bullish. And it's kind of a short-term, it's kind of a short-term view. It's the 30-day over 360-day cross. So that means 19% of all tokens on CoinGecko have a cross above, a 30-day EMA above a 360-day. So it's pretty weak, really. I think we had this up to like 30% or something at some point, and it's dipped a lot. So this kind of, just shows that the state of the market's not great. But this tends to happen, right? We get pumps, we get dumps, and then, things move back up again. And here's what it looks like visualized. The purple line here is the one that I just talked about. You can see there at the very top, under the date, it says 0.9244. And so this is still trending down. And usually when it gets below the blue line there, that does show that there's weakness in the market. So what we're looking for is for this, the purple line, we want it to start curling back up. And you can see here many times when it crossed below the blue line. I don't think it'll take us this long where it, goes sideways for a long time. But what we're looking for is, for it to move back up. Kind of like it did right here. It came down the blue line right there and then popped right back up. And that from cross down to cross up took about a month. When did this happen? January 21st. So, we talked about this month being the bottom. I was kind of hoping we pumped pretty hard this month. But we can expect that this will be the bottom of, whatever time frame it happens in the month. The bottom will happen this month, is what I believe. Okay. So I think that pretty much, so we talked about the M2 just a minute ago before I started the recording. It is curling up. That's good for us. And the MVRV Z-score is way down here. So, we're not near a top yet. The tops happen when it gets near this red area here. And it doesn't have to come all the way up to the red area, but I would say it at least has to get up here near this 6. So we're only about halfway there. We've still got time for this market. Bitcoin compared to total 3. Bitcoin is the orange line. Total 3 is the purple one. MACD is turning down. We'd like to see it hold this midline when it gets down here. We want to see it turn back up. Could there be another quick dip or something back to 88K? Sure. Need to look at so we've had a couple quick dips. Let me just get rid of others for a second here. So this is the This is the likely bottom that I had drawn a long time ago. I don't know when it was, somewhere over here. We were talking about it, and it wicked right down to it. And sometimes these wicks are revisited, and it did revisit it here almost. But just understand that this could still happen. We could have one more flush. Just because there's some big flush, and people are thinking it's over. No, not always. I mean, we could still have one more flush by the end of this month, but I don't think we're going way down here. I mean, I wouldn't really worry about that. All of this right here is probably going to hold because we're in a bull market. So that's why I had this box right here. Is at the most it's going to be somewhere near this box. And I think that's all I wanted to cover on that. Let's just see if there's anything else here. Titan X is an interesting one right now. I thought it was going to hold this box here. I just want to mention this one really quick. It could start to move back up here to this line. I don't know that that would be that much of a move, though. What is that? 50%, it's not too bad. But notice how the RSI is starting to curl up on this one. I wonder what MACD looks like. This one's been, it is kind of curling up there, but it's still on the bearish side of things. This one's been consolidating for a while now, since October 29th, after it made a pretty good move that we captured. Yeah, 3 hour looks better. Just check different time frames and see if this is one that you'd like to jump into. It is back here at support, so as long as it holds this support, you're good. So my only question is, does it hold here and starts to push back up, goes sideways a little bit and then finally breaks out, or does it have to make a double bottom? I really don't know. I'm trying to remember what that pattern looks like. Let me just check something here real quick. Yeah, I mean, it could hold here. So this might be one that you want to consider, Titan X. But, it has to hold that support line. So let's say at worst you bought it here, and then you got out if it got below support. You'd lose 20%. So really it's better to buy at the support line, because you're lowering your risk. But you can see all these wicks right here to the downside where it was finding support. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not in it right now, but it's one you can look into if you're interested in that one. I mean, it's a good value regardless, because it had this pump. If this is a token you want to hold longer until like March, April, this might be one for you. All right, so let's jump into, I think I covered all that. Let's jump into some of these plays here. Okay, we got some more people in here, good. So let me tell you about, well, I guess first let's jump into this. Oh, okay, well that helps because there's there's actually no alerts since I've looked at it. Let me just verify something. I need to mute somebody. Who is that? Oh yeah, you got it, thanks. Yeah, you muted it for me. All right, yeah, see how I looked, when was this? I mean, I looked like almost it was about 25 minutes ago, and even in the early AIPHA alerts channel, the last one was at 9:04. So this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there's not many alerts right now, or some of the alerts aren't good. So what you can do, if you're really interested in just doing Degen plays right now, which I wouldn't recommend only doing that. You need to buy some of these long-term plays up here as well. But if you're really wanting to do some Degen plays, and I need to verify that Nansen's been having some problems. Let me verify something real quick. They've been having technical problems over the last couple of days, and I think some of our smart alerts turned off on their own. It looks like it's on right now, though. Okay, I think it's fine. So what you'd want to do, if you're not getting many alerts down here, or maybe you're just wanting to get in as early as you can. Let me make sure this is showing up on video. Yeah, okay. Just go over here to high conviction wallets and scroll all the way down. Let's see, where did this, okay, this came in at 9:23. So even that was just 7 minutes ago. What this tells me is there's not many smart money that are purchasing right now. Let me verify on top Degen wallets. Yeah, this one had one sooner at 9:27. So you can bounce between these two. You're going to get a lot of alerts when things are busy, and that's what we have the alert channels for, is because we're grabbing all this information from Nansen, and then we're combining it into the alert channels down here, these three, just to make it easier for you. That way you don't have to watch, these channels that spam you a lot. But even now, they're not really spamming much. Let me just reset both Nansen alerts. Let's see, where's the other one? There it is, okay. Okay, so there are some overlap wallets in both of these channels, by the way. And the reason why I do that is in case, Nansen has problems like that, which they have had lately. So if we were to look at this, and I may actually have to bring this up on a web page just so you can see it better. Okay, so I'm going to click here on, I think it was top Degen wallets that had this. Okay, yeah, so this one was sooner. Remember the seedling emoji, it works the same with Nansen as it does for us. This means that it's a brand new token. It's a new token within like the last 1 or 2 days. So these right here, like new BTC, build, however you want to say that, USDS, these are all older tokens that have been around for a while. And then in the parentheses, you can see how much the Smart Money wallet has bought. So the way to read this, by the way, these are only purchases. None of this has anything to do with selling. So this is only Smart Money purchasing. And so you got Radium here. That's your exchange or your liquidity provider. Sometimes it'll be an exchange. But this is basically saying, okay, this many tokens was sent, and here's the token here, to this top 100 on Griffin leaderboard wallet. So this Smart Money, like nerd emoji next to the name of the wallet, this is one of the wallets that we track on Nansen. So that's how you read that. But remember, these are all buys. You don't have to worry about finding any sells in here. It's just all buys. And then, the thing on this actually isn't a Smart Money wallet right here, considered by Nansen anyway, but it is a token deployer. So this is some of the wallets that we track, and it helps us to get into plays earlier. So let's just look and see. I mean, I don't like that we don't have any new tokens here, but we can see if maybe this purchase started, an uptrend for either one of these tokens here, and just see if it's at a support level. And we can also look at Omega X. But what you can do here is, click on either one of these, like this build one. It is going to take you to Nansen. Even if you don't have Nansen, you can just go up here to the top and click this. Is my cursor showing up when I do that? Yeah, it's showing up, okay. So click this copy address thing at the top, and then go back to GMGN or whatever you want to pull it up on. And it looks like there has been, well, first you always want to go to the highest time frame you can and just get a feel. Let's bring our MACD up. There we go. Okay. So right now, I'm at a very high time frame, sure. But what I'm trying to accomplish here is just trying to get an overall feel for what the trend of this token is. Because if it's not trending up, why would I be interested in it? It's got to have higher lows, higher highs. It has to start building some market structure. So let's go to like a, start moving to a lower and lower time frame. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it could be curling up here on the hourly. But if it's below this midline on the histogram right here, that means it is currently bearish. That's equal to, being below the 50 RSI line. So if you brought up RSI, where's my thing? There it is. So if you brought up your RSI, you would see on this time frame anyway, the RSI is below the 50 line, and that's bearish. But remember that your higher time frames tend to lag. So you're just looking for direction here. You're trying to get an idea if this thing's trending up. And so you'll start moving down more. You'll go down to like a 15-minute chart. And we did get the two lines moved back above the 50 line, the midline. So yeah, there is a chance this one could move up. But my problem with it is currently there's no volume. So you want to find something that has some volume in it. And maybe that's the first thing you want to look at. Does this thing have volume or not? Because you're not really interested if people aren't buying a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, it could hold here. I would treat this as your support on this one if you're interested in it. Because this is one that went pretty high at one point, almost 10 million. And we did find it early. But remember, as these things come back down, if you are interested in buying some of these, like maybe it's AI16Z, maybe it's a really strong token, then what you want to watch for is, mental stops. Like if it broke 1 million, which is initially a mental resistance, can it get above 1 million or can it get above 10 million? Well, once it starts coming back down, you want to use those areas of support. So this one came down to 1 million. If it was to lose that area, then it can come all the way down to like, 500K, 100K. Those would be your next levels to look for. So there's different levels as things go up and different levels as things go down that you can use as support. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's just check and see, is there any more? Okay, so we've got some new ones come in. I want to bring up some of these new ones. And I'm looking to see, so I want to see some conviction there. There's $1,000 they bought. Let me just check this other one. Dagestan, okay, so this one had more conviction. Since this one's brand new and I don't remember hearing this name, not lately anyway, let's grab this contract address and we'll pull it up here. Okay, yeah, so this is a good one. I'm not saying it's a good one to jump into, I'm just saying it's a good one to review. So see how, this actually had a nice little bearish divergence. Bearish divergence is when your indicator is going down while price is going up, and usually you're gonna get some kind of dip out of that at some point. And this one dipped perfectly to the midline, and you could have, let's see, yeah, that's the 1 minute chart. You could have bought right here. I know I'm talking hindsight, but you could have bought right here. As this came down and held this line. Now, if it would have just kept coming down under the histogram, you wouldn't have cared about it. But that was a really good buy somewhere in here. Let me just look at some more things. When did this one? I need to search it and see when the first alert came in. Oh, okay, that was the first alert. This is a test channel that I've got going right now. Don't worry about that one. It'll show up in our early alerts here in a second too. They're pretty much equal. I mean, with things like this one, I wouldn't be all that interested just because it's already pumped so much. So if my alert came in, where did it come in? Dagestan. Well, here's one we're getting a lot of hits on. We want to look at that one too. But that's an older token, looks like. So Dagestan came in, what time was this? 9:32? I don't know if that's right or not. Okay, so it actually came in right here, even looking at that wallet. So this one was already at 2.6 million or whatever. Because of the way things are today, and the market's been kind of weak, I wouldn't be buying these, if they're already at like 1 or 2 million. I want to buy something that's under 1 million, right? And I want to at least try to get a 2x out of it. Even a 30% gain is great. But, for the current price action here, this is actually correct to continue to hold this. We've got an uptrend in both of these lines. They're not crossing down. And you are above the midline of the MACD right here, where all of these, green histogram candle bodies are. So it is correct to hold this one. The volume's not great for being a new token. Usually what you want to see for a new token when the volume is really good. What I watch for is like 5 minute, like I click right here on the 5 minute thing on GMGN. I mean, over 50K is not bad, but I'd really like to see something like, over 200K, because that means that a lot of people are jumping into it. But I suspect this one could keep moving. I'm not saying to jump into it, because I'd really prefer to get in, somewhere way back here. But this is trending up anyway. And so at some point in the future, once you had enough information and you were actually, maybe you already purchased the token, then you'd switch over to a 5 minute chart, and then you'd see what your, MACD was doing there. As long as it continued to trend up, then you would just stay in it. And then if you started to see it tighten down on the 5 minute and start to roll over, then maybe you'd want to get out. But on the 1 minute, you can just keep playing the crosses. Like say, for example, back here, had you got in, you would have stayed in till this cross down, and then you would have got back in on this cross up. So that's one way to play it anyway. But I mean, just look how sluggish this is here. If this was a good day, if the market was doing really well, you would see this thing just continue really quickly. And you're starting to get a few more buys here. Like your net buy, that's another thing you can look at right here. Your net buy is plus 9K. So as long as this isn't in the negative here, then that means people are still, buying more than they're selling. And that's the way that you would want to, it's kind of like well, it is saying net buy. It's like, how does Nansen put it? Maybe they say net buy too, I can't remember. Okay, let me check chat, make sure there's no questions here first before I move on. Okay, good. So let's look at some of these new ones and just see what else we got here. I'm just gonna keep looking at these until we find a good one here. And we'll keep reinforcing these ideas, right? Let's take a look at IM. I don't like that it's not a brand new token, especially right now, but we will look at it because there's multiple wallets that are buying it. And if you're looking at it like that, if you're just looking in the wallet channels here, because we don't, maybe we don't have a lot of alerts kicking off on a slow day, be looking at these two wallet channels, high conviction wallets and top Degen wallets. And if you're seeing multiple buys here for one token, then that's a good sign for you. And you can, it's at least interesting. You want to go in here. I'm going to leave this one up actually. You want to go in here and see at least what the price action's doing. I remember seeing this one at one point. Okay, so this doesn't look good right now. And the reason why this doesn't look good is because, here you are in your 1 minute, time frame, and you've got a cross down. So if you ever get an alert, maybe the alert shows up at the very top here for you. We'll call it that, somewhere in there. So if this starts to tighten up, like maybe this is all you see right there, you're starting to see this line, this blue line, start to work its way back down to the orange one. Take caution with something like that, because that means it could be crossing down like that. Sometimes it will bounce right off of that line, but it's pretty rare. But this is why on the 1 minute chart, you pretty much want to just play the crosses. If it crosses up, buy it. As long as it's as long as you've got a trend that is going up and it hasn't crossed down yet, then just stay in. But if you get that cross down, it's pretty safe just to go ahead and take your profits. Even if you take a small loss, just go ahead and get your money out of there and wait for the cross back up. Now this right here, this is really interesting because what happens here, you saw that big green candle all of a sudden. This is where the market makers are trying to entice people to buy, because they need exit liquidity as well. Or maybe it's the token deployer, the person that created the token. They need people to buy for them to sell more of their tokens. And that's one reason I like using GMGN is because, let me find it here. You can see the dev, is that working? Anyway, you can see where the dev is buying and selling. Of course, a lot of times they're not going to show, they're going to have it like an insider wallet instead. Let me see if it'll show here. Yeah, so you had insider wallets that were selling here and here. But they'll use fresh wallets as well. Yeah, so there's some fresh wallets that are, you got mostly selling. There is one buy here, but there's mostly selling here. So check your fresh wallets as well down here. Coal VCs, that's another thing to check. You got mostly selling lately. Or you can check smart wallets on GMGN. There's nothing showing up there. But I don't really like this one right now. Now what you could do, since there is some activity on this one, right? I mean, we've seen some people, if we go back, I mean, it's clear, well, I need to look at this one here in a second, but it's clear that this IM token, that smart money is watching it, right? I mean, look at this conviction that they have right here. You got $2,500, you got $2,100. That's two different wallets, by the way. So, interest could be coming back into this token. And what you'd want to watch then is if this line, let me see here, blue line. Okay, so let's just say this orange line keeps traveling like this, and then it starts flattening out there. And at the same time, this blue line is pretty much holding, and then it curls back up. So that's your buy point right there. Save yourself all of this stress. You don't have to be in this token until it crosses back up. Who cares about what price action's doing? It doesn't matter to you because, this thing could just come back up here, do a lower high and roll back over. So, this is what you want to watch for. You need it above the midline, the line that separates the green and the red candles here. So both lines have to be above that midline for me to feel, good about it being bullish. And this blue line has to cross above the orange one. The blue one's the fast line. It moves more quickly. Okay, and that could happen, by the way. I mean, it could even do it right here. It may not have to come all the way down here for the lines. It could just, turn back up. So my point is, just pay attention to that. If you see a lot of our smart money wallets buying in these two channels, top Degen wallets and high conviction wallets, and again, the only time that you would use this strategy, to actually use these two channels, is if we're not getting many alerts. If things are just real sluggish, like if we're looking here at early alpha alerts, usually this thing's just, clicking along. There's an alert every couple of minutes, sometimes, an alert every minute. And I don't think I see, well, yeah, there's IM right there, isn't it? Yeah, so it did pop up at 9:37. 9:37 was back here actually. Yeah, so it actually gave an alert at the top. So the way that you would have, let's say worst case scenario. Where's 9:37? Let's say you jumped in immediately, and I don't know where you would have bought it here. Maybe you bought it halfway on this candle. Maybe you bought it down here. Maybe you bought the top. This is how you lower your risk. Had you bought it here anywhere, as soon as you started to see these two taper together, start coming together, you would have sold somewhere in here, at least by this cross down right here. This is how I play it. I'm showing you exactly how I play it. So if I had just seen this and there was an uptrend and I thought, okay, that looks really good, but then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, it's tapering down like this, I would have gotten out before this even crossed down. But that's just the way I am. I don't want to take a lot of chance, because if this just comes down and bounces off of it, I'll just buy back in. So sometimes I don't wait on the cross down is my point there. But either way, you would have just taken a small, maybe a 20% loss here. So sure, we don't want to take losses, but if we're going to take them, we want them to remain small. And we may get a cross up here. We'll just have to see. We'll come back to this one. Here's Dagestan. We just talked about it a minute ago. It did come up a little bit, so you would have made a small profit because the cross down happened right there. You could have gotten out. So we were talking about it right here. Sure, it's barely anything as far as a profit goes, but I'm just trying to reinforce some of these ideas, even on a really bad day for trading. This is just the way it is right now because the market's weak. Okay, so let's take a look at Doodle. And y'all can interrupt me at any time, by the way. Feel free to interrupt me if you got a question, or I'll answer that here in just a second, Tommy. Let me bring up Doodle here and then we'll talk about it. Let's see. This is from alerts. Is that Doodle? That may be Doodle, isn't it? Well, no. I don't know which one you're referencing, Tommy. Maybe it is this one, I don't know. Let's just see where Doodle came in. Notice look how weak these are right now. This one couldn't even get above 400K on the first move. It's so different than what we've been seeing. So this is what I'm talking about. Be careful. There's your cross down right there. I just want to see when this one first came in to see if there was any profit to be made. So what I'll do is I'll take the contract address for Doodle and I'll paste it in here. And I just want to see the first alert. Here, if you're using the top Degen wallet channel or the high conviction wallet channel to try to get in as early as you possibly can, then you would have entered right here. So that would have been 9:43. Where is that here? 9:43 for me anyway. Yeah, see, that was the very top. And that's what I'm talking about. The market's just not great right now. You're going to have some of these that are just terrible plays. The alert's actually getting you in early, but there's no continuation. There's nobody else buying right now except for these smart money wallets. Same thing. You could have gotten in right here at the alert. Usually you're not going to get in exactly at 9:43. You're probably going to get in more like this a minute later or even a few minutes later. So, we can see here that this was trending back down. It was tapering down like we talked about. So you could have gotten out for a small loss, but you're really asking for trouble, I think, on a day when we're noticing that the market's weak. In days like that, it's probably better just to stay away from the market. This one hasn't crossed up yet. Daggestan's pretty much stagnant. Okay, let's see. I'm just looking at the chat here. There it is, okay. Oh, Doodle, okay, yeah. That same one that I just looked at. Oh yeah, Doodle, okay, thanks. Yeah, I think that's the one we just looked at. So Young Jeet asks, how do you play a coin that is uptrending strongly? Would you ever buy in price? Yeah, I mean, you can for sure. Trying to think if I can. I mean, right now it's gonna be hard to find an example like that in real time, just because the market is so terrible. You know, last few days have just been horrible for Degen plays. And what I mean by that, by the way, is, I mean, Doodle's a really good example. You're probably just gonna see this thing come down here and do this and just go sideways. The reason why I say that is, you know, we've seen this a lot lately where, last 2 days anyway, where it just goes up here. I mean, if it can't even get above 500K, that's showing a lot of weakness. You know, a lot of them we saw get over like 1 million, 10 million. There were some that just pumped straight to 40 million, just a week ago. So it's gonna come back. I mean, the Degen plays are gonna be back, but you're just seeing a lot of weakness in the market right now. Now, one thing you can do, you know, you don't have to just use, I mean, this is a little bit more advanced and it's harder to do in real time, but you can draw yourself, you know, you can kind of connect lines here with the, you know, as things go up, you can connect these lower candle bodies. And as soon as you get a full close below it on the 1 minute chart, or even wait for a second candle here to close below, then you can get out right there. And that's a little bit earlier. Yeah, I mean, it kind of coincides with this tapering down. So this is a way to be very careful. Like say if you got in down here, somewhere here, or, you know, even if you got in at the top, it's just a way to be more careful. You know, now that we're seeing these days where it's a little bit weaker, you know, at least until things get strong again. I mean, we've had some great days with Degen plays. I mean, you can ask, where is he at here? Like if you go to Degen chat, where's he at? David Alternative. I mean, he's been doing really well with these lately. I think he's probably not awake right now, but anyway, you know, he's somebody that you'd probably want to lean on during the day if he's willing to help, because he'll show you how to use and I should mention this, he'll show you how to use or tell you how to use the, what is it called? Token scam checks. So one of the things you can look at is, has the Twitter account been used before? So you've got somebody here who did this. I think this was, I've got my thing on that hides people's username when I'm doing a recording. But anyway, somebody was looking here, and what you're doing is you're typing in Twitter reuse. I think it's -reuse, yeah, there it is. And then you just put the username in there. So if we were to go over here to, what is this one? Doodle Gallery. So you just copy the address here, and then you paste it in here, and you see if they've ever used the Twitter account for anything else. And they haven't for this one. So, you know, that check is actually good. It tells you that it is a brand new, you know, token creation. It's not somebody that's just recycling the same amount of followers on that Twitter page to try to make it look like it's a real project. You know, because a lot of people don't want to go through the trouble of doing a new X page, Twitter page, and then add a bunch of new followers to it, whether they're doing it on the up and up or not. You know, there's definitely ways to cheat to get a bunch of followers. But, you know, something like this may not be a good sign. Like this person looked up, what is that, Mecoria Soul. And then, you know, this Twitter page had been changed many times to different names. I don't know if that means that they launched different tokens or they were just changing the name of the project, but anyway, it's a reason to, at least, you know, it's a red flag type thing. And tokens can still run, you know, even if they do that. I mean, it's weird how it happens. Okay, 5x smart money alerts, what is that? Okay, so the IM token, you know, we even got a 5x. This means, by the way, if you've got an alert in the 5x SM wallet alerts, which just stands for 5 times smart money wallet alerts, that means that at least 5 of the smart money wallets that we track, that we've curated, they have entered this token within the last, well, the fifth one entered 4 minutes ago, and that's this token right here. So there is still a chance that this one could pump some more, but I mean, it's still showing a lot of weakness, right? I mean, you wouldn't have entered this one again because you didn't get a clear cross up. I mean, right here, you might have gotten in temporarily, but then you would have gotten right back out. This would have been, you know, kind of premature to jump in because it didn't quite, but you know, it was tapering up. If you wanted to take a chance, you could have. So what I would be doing here is I would just be drawing some support lines. So this was your most recent low. And if it crosses back below that, then it's showing a lot of weakness, and you can probably just forget about the token for now. But I mean, smart money is not going to enter these tokens usually for a loss, especially many of them. So that's why I'm saying there's still a chance for this one. Volume sitting at 53K every 5 minutes, and net buy is at negative 7K. So, you know, short term, it doesn't look good. MACD, you wouldn't be in currently. But we were talking about before, what if this thing just slowly trickles down here and then finally turns back up? You know, that's where you'd want to be in if you got to cross back up. But it has to stay above that midline for me. Because when these two lines fall below the midline, that's when you get a big dump usually, no matter what you know, chart you're looking at. Okay, Omega X has been showing up a lot today too. I'm going to look at that one as well. I looked at it once already earlier. Oh, that's Soul Volume Alert that I'm looking at. I mean, even here on Soul Volume Alert channel, which I don't talk about this one much, this is just the total of all smart money inflows, you know, where smart money is buying things. So it's looking at all of Nansen to see what they're buying. And I think this goes up to like 3 million market cap. So you can see it's very weak right now. Yeah, I mean, sure, these two are getting a lot of flows currently. So these are two you might want to look at. But the you know, usually when this is going good, when we've got a lot of smart money participating or even retail, you'll see like 5 different tokens on this, you know, each hour it'll show 5 tokens. And look how, I mean, right here was pretty good. Right, yeah, so this is what it usually looks like right here. So yesterday there must have been a lot of activity around this time. That was 7 p.m. I wonder what 9 a.m. looked like yesterday. Where's it at? Yeah, 9 a.m. yesterday, it didn't look great, did it? Right there. So here's what I would do. I would check like around this time for me anyway. What time is it? 10 my time. So from 9 to 10, that would have been an hour ago to now. And then I would check again about, what would that be? 9 hours from now. Yeah. So 9 hours from now would be about 7 my time. But I've really seen some good ones around 11 p.m. my time. So that would be, what is that? 7, 10, 11, 4 plus, what did I say? I think it'd be about 13 hours from now for 11 for me. Or no, that wouldn't be, yeah, that is right. 13, okay. So yeah, I mean, you're really, I think it's kind of a waste of time. Like if you jump on and there's just not many alerts, like maybe you click on this one and you see an alert at 10 a.m. and then you check back, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later and there's not another alert in here, then that's a bad sign. It's it's a very low volume day. So I would just say go enjoy yourself. Don't worry about the markets. The next day may be better, or just check later in the day. Like right now, like I said, this channel specifically, early alpha alerts, it just spams alerts when things are going well. And some people enjoy that because they can just pick and choose what tokens they want to get into. And this one gets you in very early because this channel, all it's waiting for is 2 contract address matches. So any 2 wallets that buy a token, you're going to get an alert. So if you're somebody that doesn't mind sifting through some of the plays, then this is the channel for you because you're going to get in earlier than most people. But if you want to get in super early, if you want to be as early as you possibly can, and you don't mind, that some of them aren't going to be great, then you want to click on top Degen wallets or high conviction wallets channel. And especially if you see a token like any NUBTC, maybe that's one to look at because it's showing up multiple times. Let's see what high conviction's showing. Yeah, I mean, it continues to get money. Let's see what it's doing again. Yeah, so it's kind of below the support line right now, so definitely not interested in it currently. I mean, don't be trying to buy something that's falling. However, if these two lines remain above the midline here, which is the line splitting the green and red candles, if you do get a curl up here, a cross up, then you would be interested for sure. But it's interesting. I think what they're doing, they're very tricky. I mean, these token deployers and these smart money whales that get together and buy tokens, it's all a game to them. I mean, they could dump it or they could send it. So you just have to use MACD on the 1 minute chart on these newer tokens, which this one's actually not new. This one's 29 days old. But I mean, it's clear that there's been some activity in it after no activity. I mean, look how crazy this is. Hang on, let me find the, I'm gonna have to put this on a daily chart, I think. Well, I'll put it on 12 hour. Oh, that's what happened. So this thing had a pump before, and now, let's see, the dev sold there. Maybe that's why people got interested, while people started buying, because the dev sold right there. Sometimes people want to see the dev get out first. So you do have a very slow trend up. I mean, I just don't know that I'd be interested in this. I mean, it could come back up to like 1.4 million. There's a lot of resistance right there. But I think you're taking a chance on something like this. Maybe if some smart money is just preparing for the next pump. They're wanting to buy something cheap that they like. Let me just see what this one is. Sirius Alpha. I mean, these are all cookie cutter to me. It's just some kind of AI, I guess, responding to people. I don't know what this is. But there is 46 smart followers, from Moni. So, Spider Crypto follows it. Takeshi's Return follows it. There's other people. But these are pretty good, accounts that find these alpha plays. I mean, these plays don't have to be anything. A lot of them are just LARPs. They're not actually a real project. That's what most of the market is. But it's okay. I mean, all we care about is making money, right? So if you go back here to your 1 minute chart, because you've been seeing smart money accumulate, and you do see this hold above the midline and it curls up, then that's fine. Go ahead and take your position. But look how much money you saved and time. Money and time you saved here, because you didn't have to get in here. You were waiting for the MACD to turn up. Okay, let me check. I know this has taken a while to go through, but I just want everybody to understand what I look for in these plays. I don't know, did I answer that, Young? Let's see, how do you play a coin that is uptrending strongly? Yeah, I guess we kind of answered it, but let's just use this one here as an example. I'm gonna use the hourly chart. So let's say that, and we did find this one early, by the way. In fact, let me just grab the contract address when this one first showed up. And remember, at any time, you can take the contract address, paste it in here, and hit enter, in our search. And we can go all the way back to the last page, and we can see where it first showed up for us. So if you want to back test these this way, it would really help you. You can kind of see how they reacted on a good day, when the market was good. So our first alert, I mean, there was a ton of, like, if you were just looking at high conviction wallets, you could have got in much earlier. But if you're looking for the specific alert from our channel, then this was the first one right here at 1.86 million. So this was 24 days ago, Sunday, January 12th at 5:04 my time. So Sunday, January 12th, 5:04. What was it, PM? I think that was right. Anyway, it was somewhere right about here, I think. Okay, so that's our line. That's our area where the first alert happened in one of our alert channels. So pretty good. I mean, we'd love to get in way back here, right? But it's not always going to happen. The second way that we would love to be able to get in is trying to get in near the next bottom. So this actually worked out really well. Had a first pump, second pump, and then on the second pump, the alert happened pretty close to this bottom. So in a case like this, we talked about it a minute ago. If you get a really nice pump out of one of these tokens, number one, you can use a fib line, grab your fib, go from top or bottom to top for me anyway. And as long as it's holding the 786, and you could even use the candle bodies. You don't have to, like see right here, I'm using the candle stick top or the wick top, but you can use the candle body top as well. And then, usually you want to be buying at the 786 line. But if you were to buy here somewhere and then you saw it starting to dip, I wonder what the MACD looked like at the time. Yeah, really, you probably wouldn't have bought right away because, this was trending down. It didn't look great. But this is kind of like the fib idea that we use, or the box method, where we wait for it to come back down to somewhere around the 786 line, and then we buy there. So this coincided really nicely with a cross up on the MACD, along with the 786 touching. And it doesn't always touch. The really strong ones won't come all the way down to 786. This one barely touched it, but the MACD would have, given you direction there because it crossed up right there. And that's what a strong one looks like to me, Young, to answer your question. For MACD specifically, you got a wide gap, there's no cross downs, and then you get out right there. So in this case, had everything worked perfectly for you on the buy and the sell, which it doesn't always, but you got a clear cross up right there. Let's stay conservative and say you bought here, and let's stay conservative on this side as well and say you sold somewhere down here. I'm not being unrealistic here. I think this is realistic for someone to have played this one and bought it here and sold there, not selling the very top. So, about a 5X, a little bit over a 5X, something like that. And you're out safely. You just used your tools that you had, right? You weren't doing anything fancy. You were just using your fibs. Didn't even need your fibs, honestly. Had you been watching this one, you saw the alert. You were just waiting to see this, if this crossed back up. So you were in, and then you waited until it crossed back down and you were out. And you could have even gotten back in here, but it was a false breakout. I mean, you could have bought down here and made a little bit, but had you waited for these two lines to get above the midline, then you would have taken a small loss there. So usually on these, you just want to get in and get out. Take your profits. Don't worry about it because this one pumped all the way to 20 million. It's going to take it a while to consolidate, and that's exactly what happened. And this is why you want to zoom out. I went on there and I saw that we had multiple alerts, right? And I was thinking, okay, well, this one, maybe it's a newer token, and maybe it's only been around for 4 or 5 days, but it turns out this one's been around for 30 days. And I mean, if you're looking at this, you're probably not all interested in buying it, right? So even though the 1 minute chart, let me take this off. Even though you got a nice little move out of this 1 minute chart, maybe you're not all that interested in it. But it's just up to you. I mean, if you want to see how this thing's going to play out, I'd like to see these two lines get back above the midline, though. It's just not looking that great right now. But this could be a bull flag. We don't know yet. It just needs to play out some more. So, you get a breakout, you get a cross up. I mean, you could even take your fibs here from the bottom to the top, just like we did. It's slightly under the 786 right now. So, just practice this stuff. I've done a lot of videos on it, but if there's something specific that isn't clear, just let me know. Hopefully that answers that. Okay. Yeah, so let's just try to look at maybe one more here. Let me see. Okay, so see, we looked at all the alerts that we have so far. It's just a slow day, right? And yesterday was kind of the same thing. Even if you're not following this thread, make sure you do so. Type in the chat if you're not in this thread already, right here, Rodstron and Bike's Soul Train. Rod, sometimes I'll post stuff in here, but I'll get busy, and Rod's usually the one that posts here. But if you can't see this channel, this thread, let me know, and I'll make sure that you can here in a minute. But even with Rod's calls, usually he'll do a call that gets you at least a 2x or something. But even the ones he was calling yesterday, he had trouble with because there's just not many good plays right now. I know there was at least one that did like a 5x. So definitely keep an eye on his plays because he makes some really good calls. Sometimes they'll be even earlier than our alerts, but that's pretty rare. Usually they're ones that'll show up in our alerts. So let's look here. What do I want to look at? Feel free to ask any questions. Interrupt me in voice chat. Looks like Tommy has something here in a second. I'll come back and read that. So let's look at, since we don't have any alerts showing up right here, and you're really wanting to trade something, then remember you have to go to either top Degen wallets or high conviction wallets, and we'll just see, here, let me bring it up here so you can see it better. Yeah, new BTC seems like it's still showing some things. Here's a new one. Okay, so is that the same wallet, Dex Token Expert? You are going to see some overlaps of some of these wallets. Yeah, it's the same. Okay. So there's only been one buy of this one. So, well, no, there hasn't. There's been two. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. And remember, it will send you to Nansen when you click. Here, let me make sure that that's clear. So when you go to these wallet channels, if you click on the token name, it'll take you to Nansen, and then you just click here to copy the address. That's the only reason I'm going to Nansen. You don't really need it for anything else. And I think free users can do that. I don't think you need Nansen subscription to do that. You may actually have to make an account, but I don't think you have to, pay anything for it. So let's see. I don't think this one's gonna, well, maybe I'll leave that one out. I think the best thing that you can do is just, even if you're not trading and you just want to practice, either go back and, look at previous trades that looked good, maybe even ones that looked bad, and see why they looked bad or looked good. Practice what the MACD was looking like at the time. So here, I think this one just showed up. So it was somewhere in here that the alert happened, maybe even here. Let me just verify that. AIPHA 10x. Okay, we'll just say, well, no, it showed up before that, didn't it? Token deployer. Okay, 10 o'clock. Where's 10 at? Way back here. Yeah, so somewhere in here. So you'd pretty much break even currently. 30K volume. Volume seems to be coming in on it. Notice how volume continues to tick up. Let's just see if there's any more buys. This one could pump, actually. Let's see, it's 20 minutes old. The only thing I don't like about this, okay, so let's look at it this way. You need higher highs and higher lows, right? So the basis of everything is market structure and price action. So if we just forget MACD and everything else, this represents a higher high from, say, this one. It's a lower low from this one, though, is the problem. But my point is, just call this your resistance currently, because that's as high as it could get. And if it can break back above that, then you're good. Notice how it rejected here the first time and kind of faked down. So that's looking much better. I was worried that it was going to roll over. But see how you have these two MACD lines that are crossing above the midline here? That's why I was mentioning it could pump. Because when you see the two lines come above this midline that separates the green and the red candles, usually you get a nice move out of it. But the two lines have to continue. I may have to make these bigger just so you can see them. Line, I think it's this one. Okay, maybe I'll just make it a different color. Yellow, yeah, there we go, that's better. Okay, that's better. It's really hard to see those lines. So yeah, that looks really good to me so far. This is a perfect real-time example. So we finally got one. It's hard to find these sometimes. So what you're looking for, and I'm on the 30-second chart. Let's see if MACD's showing. Okay, so MACD really isn't showing up on the minute chart just yet because this thing's so new. Okay, here's 30-second chart. So just stay on your 30-second chart until the 1 minute gives you enough information. It kind of is. There's the orange line right there, but it hasn't developed much yet. You just got that yellow line. But you can stay on the 30-second chart and treat it just like a 1 minute chart, right? So just play your cross downs, your cross ups. Sometimes I don't take these even if they cross up, if they're below the midline. But had you done that, what did we say? 10 o'clock was the very first alert. Where was that at? It was actually right here. So let's just say you would have bought somewhere right here. This is worst case scenario. You would have bought somewhere in here. Best case scenario is maybe you drew some kind of fib line here. and you bought once it crossed back above the 786. So that's the safe play, is if it gets down below 786 and then gets back above it, then that's where you would buy. But technically you would have bought in the same area regardless. You know, just being conservative. So already, I mean, that's a 2x, right? And we're just watching it. You know, here we are on our 30-second chart. It's really not tapering back down or anything. There's nothing to worry about just yet. You know, here we've got some consolidation. This could be a double top. You know, think about things like that as well. Here's some resistance. As price is playing out, we know that double tops are bearish. So if that scares you and you just want to take your 2x and get out, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to worry about, you know, you don't have to wait for this cross down if you don't want to. You know, be thinking about structure, because, you know, double tops are typically bearish. I don't know what'll happen here. You know, it may find support here again, but notice how it is tapering back down. So even, I mean, even if you would have gotten scared out and you saw this huge candle and, you know, this was starting to trend down here, you know, if you got scared out of this play, which is typically what a market maker's trying to do to you, is make you use emotions to, you know, either get in or get out of a play, you still would have made a small profit there. I think it's actually 40%, 50%. But there's a chance that this thing just keeps going too. We got 140K volume, that's really good. Net buy is plus 6K right now. Let's just see what else happens with it. I'm glad we finally got one, right? I mean, it's hard to find a play right now. And while we're waiting on this, while we're talking about it, let me just see something. Mentat. What is this Elon Musk Act? Let me just see what this one is while we're waiting on this one. I want to talk you through these in real time. I mean, the thing is, it's going to take you some practice, right? Why is this one not coming up? It's going to take you some practice, but you'll get better and better at it. Yes, this Elon Musk one I wouldn't be all that interested in just yet, just because it is crossing down. I mean, if it crossed back up, maybe I'd get in. What is the one? Oh yeah, let's switch to the 1 minute on that other one. So in this case right here, you don't have a cross down yet. Let's see what the 1 minute look. Okay, so this is kind of trending up. That's what the 1 minute would look like. You want to see this trend up where, you know, at least it's not tapering down. But you're seeing a lot of buyers and sellers fighting right here, right? I mean, this is a bad candle, by the way. Inverted hammer, where you got this huge, you know, price pushed way up to a double top, and then it pushed all the way back down, showing that the sellers were in control, or the, you know, the bears were in control, however you want to say it. And you're starting to get this taper. I think it's fine. Yeah, there you go, cross down. So I think it's fine to stay on a 30-second chart if you want, but it is good to jump up to the higher, you know, jump up to the minute time frame when you can. You know, go up to the 5 minute. Of course, you don't have a MACD showing up on the 5 minute yet. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen here. It could end up being some kind of bull flag and then take off. You know, the price action is always going to fool you. But if you're trying to play it super safe, then, you know, be thinking about, you know, double top. I don't know what else you could do, really. I mean, if you had your fibs here, well, we'd actually have to drag it the other way, wouldn't we? I mean, one other thing you could do is drag from the top to the bottom and then use these areas as it goes back up. Actually, that doesn't work. You want this to be hitting one of those lines for sure. I don't know. I'll just use that wick. It didn't quite hit that, but what you'd be watching for is a move up to like the 1618, 2618, something like that. If it was strong. I mean, like I said, none of these are really strong right now. While I'm waiting on that, I'm going to move around to some other ones here. Doodle, you could have taken this cross up right here, but I mean, look, volume is $3,700. It's just not worth it, right? Yeah, 7K volume, it's not worth it. 27K on Dagestan. I mean, it could get moving again. But, sometimes people ask, how many smart money are in these plays? Well, you can tell pretty quickly for yourself. Just look at the, if it's a newer token, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that one. Just look at the top Degen wallets or high conviction wallets. And if it's a newer token like Sarah Alpha, let's just say this one's brand new, then maybe you just go over here, you take your contract address. So I'm going to copy the contract address, and then I'm going to go back to Discord, and I'm going to paste it. And I'm just going to scroll all the way back down. And here you go right here. Here's a wallet called Kanye FNF. Oh, they bought Gamma. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Here's one called Former Smart Trader. They bought it. Top 100 on Griffin Leaderboard wallet. That's how Nansen labels them. They bought it there at 855. So this is a way that you can see, at least the initial smart money wallets that got into it. And I don't know if you can do this or not, but you might be able to click on the wallet here. As long as you have a Nansen account, maybe you don't even have to pay for the Nansen account. And then go to transactions here, and you can see, here's how to read this, by the way. They're using 18 Sol to buy, I think, hang on. Oh, sorry, I've got that wrong. It looks like they were selling it. Yeah, that is right. Okay, so the way that you read this is, number one, from the Radium liquidity provider, it's going from that to the wallet. That means they're taking, from the Radium Authority liquidity provider for this token, they're receiving 18 Sol. And what they're giving back to, here's the wallet selling these tokens right here to Radium. It's almost 2 million tokens, and the total value is 18 Sol. So whatever you see in the bottom line right here, that's what they're receiving. So they bought it way back here somewhere. Yeah, right there. So here's where they were buying it, because it's in the green. It's the green number. Here's what they were buying. And here's what they were losing or selling. It was the 10 Sol. So that's how you would read that. This means that they're already out of the token for the most part. Maybe they have a little bit left over. But if Nansen allows you to see this with a free account, then this could be useful to you. These are just some of the things that you can use. As a tool bag type thing. Let me just see if Degen chat has any questions here. Okay. And I'll check chat. I want to wrap this up here in a minute. I mean, we've been going for a little bit. Do y'all feel like, oh, you can't see Rod's plays? Okay. Here, I'm going to do this, Tommy. I'm just going to put your name in there, and you should be able to see it now. Make sure you join the thread, and anybody else that has trouble seeing it, let me know. So we've gone through some plays. I mean, we finally found one, right? And here we go. The way to have played this, where did we say the alert came in? About 10 o'clock, yeah. So the alert was somewhere in here. So we finally found a good play, and this is just how you have to do it. I mean, you have to work to find these plays. And it didn't take us long, right? I mean, it took us maybe 15, 20 minutes. But even on a bad day, you can make money. And I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but sometimes you got to work hard to make money on a day like today. But remember, 30-second, 1 minute chart, whatever it is, if you get a cross down, you can go ahead and get out. You would have made a small profit there. Or you can watch for, double tops like that and get out of, usually this is going to act as resistance the first time it gets back up here. So just remember that. Sometimes it'll blow right through it though. So, if you just want to use the cross downs to get out, there's your cross down. Here's your cross up. You could have been right back in. And this whole time, if you have some kind of strategy where you just want to take quick 30% profits or 50%, you can definitely do that. And whatever strategy you come up with that works for you, then that's what you want to use. Whatever makes you feel the most comfortable, because Degen plays are very difficult. And we talk about things that'll help you to lower your risk. I mean, that's what it's all about, because these are risky. I mean, that's why they call them Degen plays. They're gambling. But your trend overall on this one, like if you were just to take some lines here, and just call this some kind of channel. I don't know, you could do it that way even. But your trend is up. When we're talking about trends, your trend is up. Back here, your trend was down. The lines are moving in a downward direction, if you're thinking about a channel. Price action, you need higher highs and higher lows. Here, I'm just gonna move some lines around here. We first started looking at this one somewhere around here after the alert. So this was your high at the time, and you needed to see it break above that high. So this would have started your next higher high. This wasn't the real higher high, this was. But I'm just saying, you got a full candle close above the line. So you can use ideas like that as well, that you need to see some bullishness. Because here was a low, this was your local low at the time. And as far as market structure goes, this would have looked really bad, right? You got a rejection, and then it fell below, but then it got right back above. And you could have, I don't really recommend using fibs and all that right now. I mean, it still helps. But the idea of waiting for a token to come back down before you buy it, it's just not working right now as much. I still think it's a great strategy, the box method that Tatiana teaches, and the fib idea, if you just want to do it really quickly this way, if it gets back above 786, you could buy. It's just that mostly what we're seeing right now is something like this: quick pump, comes down, and then just goes sideways. We were very fortunate with this one that it kept going, that it didn't just have this pump and then just go sideways. And I can't remember, did we, let me grab the CA for this one again. I love pasting the CAs into Discord search, just to go back and look at things. So let's see, we had one buy here at 10:03. Another one at 10:10. Okay, so it was more like 10:10 that we were feeling better about it. And that worked out really well. I mean, look at that. It was just starting to move back above 786 around that time. So this was probably, it could be one of the better plays today, even though it didn't do a whole lot. I mean, look how weak this one was on the first pump. And that's another thing I want y'all to pay attention to. 350K market cap on the first pump is really weak. And when I say first pump, I mean, it could still, go up, down, up, down, up, down. But then I'm talking about the high that it puts in after all this movement. When the market is really good, you're going to see these get over 1 million easy. So this tells you that the market's still weak. You need to be careful with your plays. What else did I want to show you here? I don't remember what else I was going to say there. Okay, let me check something. Y'all let me know if you have any questions on any of this. Let me see what, oh yeah, so our developer, the person working on the code for the bot, he's working on a P&L system where, I mean, really what I wanted was the SECT, S-E-C-T, the SECT bot. Where's their Twitter? Here it is right here. So y'all know the P&L card that has the emojis on it. Let me find one for you. For some reason, their Discord service isn't working. But once we do get it working, or once they have it working, I want to get this on our server. And then once you post a CA in the Degen chat or wherever we're going to put it, probably Degen chat. But like, say if you posted the CA, it would say, who called it here, like this person's name's Insider, called at. I think this will be a lot of fun, right? We can kind of have competitions with it. But for whatever reason, this SECT bot is only working on Telegram right now. They say they're working on it, but I'm trying to get you some fun tools, some fun things that we can use, but right now it's not working. So in the meantime, our developer that's working on the code for the alert channels and stuff, he's trying to work something here with the Rick bot. Currently you can't see this channel, and that's fine. We're just testing out some things. Just wanted to make you aware of that. Let me see, oh yeah, that was that other, okay. So yeah, I just like to post a CA in and kind of look through and see when the alert first showed up, that sort of thing, kind of back test it. But yeah, this one here, I mean, even though it's such a weak token and the alert ended up being very good, even if, what time was this? Even if you would have gotten in 2 minutes later after the alert and you just played this double top, it was like a 2 or 3x. Even conservatively, if you had, fumbled the play basically, or if you were just waiting on the MACD to turn down. Let's just see, let me get rid of some of these lines here. I mean, we did this one in real time, so, we can actually say this. So there's your cross down right there. Here's where you would have bought conservatively. You still would have made like almost a 2x there on a weekday. Yeah. I don't mean to say it that way. It is a weekday, but it's a week, W-E-A-K, day. Okay. Well, Young, it is complicated today. I mean, hopefully the things I'm showing here aren't complicated. They just need to be practiced, right? But understand that even on a difficult day like today, you could have made money. And it's difficult. I mean, it is difficult. But when the good days come back, you'll be more prepared, right? So sometimes it's good to be around on the bad days and just see what you can get out of it, or at least practice. I mean, you can paper trade this stuff. You don't have to throw money at it on a bad day like this. Just go ahead and put your practice in, and maybe you just practice for an hour, and that's enough. It doesn't have to be all day. And then you've got your tools set up in your mind. You know how to use everything and it's very easy. From a practical standpoint, it's a very easy thing to do, but emotions get in the way, don't they? That's the tough part. So if you just trade like a robot and, buy if there's a cross up and sell if there's a cross down, then you'll probably do pretty well, just in that regard. Like here we have possibly another cross up coming. So what you're seeing here is it's slowly working itself up. Kind of like what do they call this? It's in an ascending triangle. I don't remember what the pattern is called exactly. But as long as these two lines are above the midline here, which again, this coincides with the RSI, you're in the bullish zone. We've talked about it before, where this is bullish. Overall, the trend is bullish. And then this down here under the 50 line is bearish. And you can see pretty clearly, I mean, it's not perfect, but the midline that splits this, the green and red candles on the histogram for MACD, it pretty much works out, for bullish and bearish, the same way RSI does. So you really don't need RSI up. You just keep your MACD up. And as long as these two lines are above the midline, then there's a chance it could keep moving up. But right now it's just sideways price action. But definitely watch your volume. You got 64K volume, that's good on a 5 minute. So it could turn back up. And really what you'd be watching for is this breakout. Swarms did the same thing. I mean, Swarms was a completely different animal. It did 200x. I don't think this one's going to do that. But, it kind of just worked its way up, and then it finally had its first big breakout. I can actually show you that one. This was one of our first big wins. I don't think any of us actually won anything, but because it happened late at night, I think, for me anyway. But if we look back at, is this the hourly? Yeah, this is the hourly chart. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find where this was. I think it was somewhere in here. Yeah, something like this anyway, where it was just kind of slowly grinding up. Oh no, that was already at 35 million. We found it much earlier than that. I probably have to go down to a minute chart, but somewhere in this big green candle, or maybe in here, was it 69 million? No, we found it way down here somewhere. Anyway, it made that pattern where, there was some kind of resistance, and then it worked its way up like that and finally broke out. So those are patterns to watch for. Yeah, definitely, Tommy. Emotions are, if you can get rid of emotions, I mean, you're so far ahead of everybody else. And that's what, for those of you that use Engineering Robo, do I even have it up on me? Oh yeah, here we go, Titan X. So if I brought Engineering Robo signals up on this, sometimes we use these just to tell us if it's time to get into a play or not. And currently it's not on this one, but I think it could be soon because this one is at a support line. But that's what I believe, that Engineering Robo AI is the best trading view indicator. But it just, it takes all the emotions out. You just buy when it says to buy and you sell when it says to sell. But the things that we're teaching here are going to show you how to do this without Engineering Robo. So I think it'll really help everybody. I mean, you're learning a lot of TA without realizing it. Really, you're just trying to make money, right? But at the same time, you're learning how to do TA. And especially on a very low time frame, most people will tell you that's dangerous, and it is for the most part. But and in a way, you're learning how to leverage trade at the same time. So you're getting a lot out of this all at once. Yeah, there's AIPHA. It actually showed up on our... Oh, it's showing up again on here. Okay. Did it move up again? Oh, yeah, there we go. It had a pretty nice candle. So, yeah, this is starting to trend up again. Where is it at here? So this was a buy right there. Sell, buy, sell. And now here's another buy right there. And currently there was no reason to get out. Even this started to taper down there, but the trend was up currently. So, and you can take quick scalps. I mean, that's basically what leverage trading is. You're just like, if you're just using MACD here, let me get rid of that. If you're just using MACD here, you're just taking quick scalps off of these cross ups. So right here, whatever we called that, 2x, being conservative. So you're out, you're back in here. Where did that cross up? Maybe here somewhere. And the cross down was, you had actually lost about 2% there. And you would have got back in maybe here. And you'd currently be up 16, 17%. I think this will keep going though. So I'm glad we found that one anyway, even on a bad day. Yeah, Epi for sure. Yeah, Epi's saying if you can't see the, on the video here, if you can't see the words on the chat very well, Epi's saying seemingly quite a bit of fear at the time. Nowhere to be seen in Degen. Well, yeah, I mean, there's still, it seems to me like not many retail are buying the Degen plays. It's mostly just smart money. And the smart money wallets that we track, I don't know exactly how they do it, and I'm not really so concerned about it. We just want to make money off of them. But it seems to me that sometimes if they see that a token is not getting enough retail action, because they need their bags to pump too, it can't be just them pumping it. They're enticing price action, for retail, just like a market maker would. But and maybe they have a market maker, running the price action themselves, but if retail's not participating, then sometimes they just dump the price and then they move on to the next token that they had planned to launch. So just be aware that that happens sometimes. I mean, they're in it to make money. And it's usually a big group of whales, in a chat together somewhere. So, I guess that's why it's such a gamble, is because they're the ones really in control of the price action. Like we talked about, these plays are not real projects, a lot of them. Okay, so I think this gives you a pretty good basis, a good set of tools that you can use and practice. And we'll keep doing this for sure, but I like to do these videos sometimes to reinforce the ideas that we've been using, especially on a bad day like today. If you want to watch any of the previous ones, be sure to go up here to the pin section of the Degen chat, and you'll see like the box method, like right here is the second video if you want to learn that. But you can just use the quick fib method too, just pull your fibs real quick. Box method's going to be more accurate. Why is this lit up? Oh right, I forgot I did that poll. What did it come out to so far? Number 1 and number 3. Okay. Yeah, really. What'd you say? Were you talking to me? Have I seen what website? Oh, no, I didn't. Is it cool? AI alpha agent. Oh, cool. Smart money movements, analyze social trends. Huh. Yeah, it looks like they're like early development, but at least they have a real product so far. That's cool. Shows how many smart money. Oh, it shows the promotions, huh? Yeah, maybe this will turn into something good. I mean, it's maybe this will keep pushing it that they actually have a real project. So I don't know if anybody jumped into this, but I mean, clearly you're well into profit here if you did. Oh, we forgot to jump up to the 1 minute. Yeah, so does this have 5 minute yet? Okay, so 5 minute MACD is not showing up yet. But, going to the 1 minute would save you a lot of time. I didn't, no. Usually when I'm talking like this, I usually don't. But yeah, I mean, like we were talking about before, uptrend, cross down, cross up. The 1 minute chart will have less signals for you, to jump out and jump in. So, for those that would rather have something that has less signals. Yeah, it could for sure. I mean, especially because of the site like you were talking about, it looks good. Kind of a slow cook, wasn't it? It didn't do much at first. Yeah. Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, most of these don't have anything. Mm-hmm. Wonder what this 14 promotion, I guess it means like KOLs or something. I wonder, oh yeah, that's what you could do. So let's just see, I'm curious. Wouldn't it be funny if it called its own coin? I mean, I know it probably did, but what if it called it like early enough to make a lot of money? How do you find out? Created, oh, well, it says created 50 minutes. I don't understand how to search history. It just takes me to that. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I think you're breaking up. What'd you say? Oh, I was just trying to see if it showed like the first alert. I was curious. What does it say? 287 market. Maybe it called it here at 287. Maybe that's why it's saying 287 there. So that would have been up here somewhere. Or maybe it's just lagging. I don't know. It's hard to say where it called it. Might be a site to watch though. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. I think we've been doing this for a while. I don't want to make the video too long. We've been doing it for over an hour. So I'll post this video if anybody missed the first part of it. I mean, y'all feel free to hang out in here and talk together, talk about these plays. Of course, I know today is not great. It's kind of a slow day, but definitely for yourself anyway, if you're really interested in Degen plays, go back and back test these plays and see how to best approach it from your side, your point of view, whatever strategy you like to do. Maybe you like to take 30% profits or take 30%. how do I want to say that? You want to take profits at 30% or 70 or 2x. If you're just trying to do quick trades, then I think that's better right now for sure. But remember, if you're wanting to find them the quickest you possibly can, there's more spam in these channels, but you'd want to use top Degen wallets and high conviction wallets if you're not seeing a lot of alerts here. Okay, well, I appreciate y'all joining, and I'll get the video out here in about an hour or two. And just let me know if you have any other questions. We'll do another one of these soon enough. But jump in here anytime and work together. And I'm sure y'all find some good plays. Okay, y'all have a good one. Thanks.